A very pleasant good day, and welcome to Kidz Talk, a Clap for Liberia production. We are your presenters, Estakia YG and
Favor Evia of Effort Baptist Just.
Welcome to our program, Mr. Daniel Ankrah.
Thank you very much. It's my pleasure.
For and on behalf of Kidz Talk and Clap for Liberia team, I want to thank you for affording us this morning opportunity.
For all the kids watching this program, can you please tell us, what does Mr. Daniel Ankrah do at the Liberian Revenue Authority?
Well, thank you very much. Daniel Ankrah is a Liberian. He's married with 2 children, and he is the current acting manager of communications, media, and public affairs here at the Liberia Revenue Authority. So that is what I do. I communicate. Me and my team, we write stories, we do publications, we do corporate communications, we do branding, we do designs, and everything related to media, communications, and public affairs.
Why is the working of the Liberian Revenue Authority important in our society?
Well, the Liberia Revenue Authority is an institution of government that has the responsibility through an act of the legislature to collect lawful revenue. And I mean that we're supposed to collect taxes specifically because no country in the world can survive without taxes. I know most of you may have heard that we say in Liberia we like to beg for things. And then we say the country like to beg other countries for financial assistance. So the best way we can reach a point where we don't continue begging other countries to help us with money and other things is when we Liberians collect taxes and pay our taxes. Because don't forget, the USAID and all of these different projects you see they do, you always see from the American people. They pay taxes, and the excess of their taxes is what they send to us to help us. So if they can pay and support themselves, we as a country can pay and support ourselves. So LRA is very, very, very essential. I don't want to say it's the most essential government institution, but it's nearly the most essential government institution because all the people that work in government salaries get paid when we collect taxes here. Most of the community rules you see around are Liberian taxpayers' money. So yes, we are very essential, and most likely without LRA being present, that means Liberia will have to depend on other countries for nearly everything, including paying its own people's salaries. So that's why it's very important that LRA is a functional government institution.
In what ways can the Liberian Revenue Authority impact the lives of a Liberian child?
Interesting. Liberian children have been some of the smartest, finest, most brilliant, and it is only but fair that when we collect taxes as a country, it goes towards education. When we collect taxes, it goes towards good health care. When we collect taxes, it does a lot of other things. So a Liberian child gets to go to free primary school at the level of kindergarten in some government schools. They currently do free primary education. And that is happening because people are paying taxes. So young kids get to go to the nursery and stuff in government schools, free of charge. At JFK Hospital, when a woman gives birth to a child, that child gets free medical treatment, I think up to 10, 11, 12 if I'm correct. But that child gets a certain period of free medical services rendered by the government hospital. Now, who's paying for these nurses and doctors to take care of you when you get treated free? It's taxpayers' money. Who's paying for all of the syringe, the needles, the masks, the wipes, and everything they use in the hospital to treat you? And even though you go there, you see other people pay, but as kids, your parents take you there and you don't pay. The only thing I had to pay when my son was born is the delivery fee. I didn't pay any other fee at JFK. Similarly, when my daughter was born, I didn't pay any other fee. So there are Liberian children that are directly benefiting from taxpayers' money, because in some countries, if you 0.5 day old, or you 1 day old, or you 1 week old, or you 1 year old, once you're taken to a government hospital, whether government or private, you pay. But here at JFK, you don't pay, and it's taxpayers' money that's collected by LRA that is keeping the lights on at the hospital and doing all of these things. So yes, LRA is directly or indirectly affecting the lives of many Liberian kids around here.
Well, Mr. Ankrah, what are some advantages and disadvantages that the Liberian Revenue Authority is faced with?
Well, there are always challenges. The LRA has got a very huge advantage, because it is collecting taxes. What I would consider a challenge, not necessarily a disadvantage, is the fact that, like every other government institution, have you heard the term where people say you have to spend money to get money? I don't know if any of you have heard that you have to spend money to get money. So the idea is that if people at LRA are working towards collecting taxes, say for example, we have to go to Green Group, for example, to do awareness on taxation and why people should pay taxes. And none of our cars can carry us to Green Group. And the government says it doesn't have money to give us money even though we collect money. So at the end of the day, we are challenged, and people in Monrovia will be paying taxes and people in Grand Crew, for example, will not be paying taxes. Is that fair? Meanwhile, children in Grand Crew go to the government hospital in Grand Crew and they get free medical treatment when they're small. But meanwhile, parents in Monrovia are paying taxes while those kids are going. So why can't those kids' parents pay taxes as well? So it's only but fair that we are empowered to be able to reach across the entire country to be able to collect taxes. Because when we do that, it affects everybody. When we do that, it's not going to be 100% that everybody, all lives will be happy, everybody will be dancing and smiling. But at least as a country, we'll know that we're depending on ourselves. Because you depend on your parents to send you to school. It's the same way all government employees depend on the government to pay them. And then we'll pay our children's school fees, parent buy your shoes, your clothes and stuff. But if government is not paying, you don't get those basic incentives from your parents. So there are many advantages of the LRA, and there are also a few challenges, which I don't like to call disadvantages, but there are a few challenges that once we receive the kind of support we need, we can collect more money. Mind you, let me say this for the record that last year from July to December was the first time the government of Liberia collected taxes to the extent that it did not have to get support from any other country to pay salaries or to carry out major government projects. For the first time in the country's history. And also for the first time in the country's history, there's a budget proposed of over 700 million, and over 600 of that million of that amount will be collected by this institution that you're sitting in now, LRA. So we're getting there, we're not there yet. There are challenges, but with the support, we can collect more money, we can do more things, and I think we all can go home happy.
Is your present career the one you dreamt about when you were growing up?
So the one I'm doing now, you mean? Growing up, I wanted to be somebody on TV, and I used to admire a lady called Becky Anderson on CNN, and she used to present Connect the World. And as I watched her, at the time my parents had black and white television. You're the young cherry, I've not seen black and white television. Have you seen black and white television? Okay, all you know is color television. But at the time we used to watch TV on black and white television, so the only color you saw was black or white. So this shirt would look black, or it would look like gray, but there was no particular color. So when I saw her present news on CNN, I was excited. I felt like it was something that I wanted to do. I felt like something I was interested in. So growing up, and then we had the opportunity when I was in 7th grade, I had the opportunity to be a part of, after what Liberian people called War 1, 2, and 3, I had the opportunity to go to Army Radio. And Army had come to Liberia and was elected from our different schools as child broadcasters. And we went there, we participated in the process, we were selected. Interestingly, 7 persons from my school had the highest number of students that were selected. And then we started doing a program called Our World. And that program ran for years. Even some of the people that know me today and know me from being on radio, who really have followed me, know that the first program, or the first thing that made me to talk on radio was that program. And I started from there. But then, what I'm about to say, as you grow, you would understand. And then as I grew from child broadcasting and I started, I don't know whether I should call it adult broadcasting, but then I started working for LMDI, where I worked with their co-founder, Festus McKean, and together we were producing children's program. And we did that for a couple of grading. I think it was called Kidz Splash. And then from then on, at some point we all went our separate ways, but I stayed on, and then I used to beg the people to get on radio. Say, yeah, please put me on radio, man. But then, as God would have it, I got on radio, I started playing music. But that was not what I wanted to do. Now, how do I leave from playing music to start reading news, which I wanted to do? So I started, taking up free services in the newsroom. I would go there and ask the people, what do you want me to do? What do you have here for me to do? And then, bit by bit, I got interested, they got interested in me. And I hope you take note. Free. I offered my services free. Nowadays, even if somebody tell you can't even do it and I'll pay you something, you say no, the money ain't enough. But I went there because I had a dream and I thought that dream could be achieved. But fast forward to the story is that I got on news, I started doing news, and then I started doing talk show, and then I was sent as a reporter to the Capitol building, and then I progressed, and then I resigned 4 or 5 years after I did a short spell at Radio Veritas. And then I started working at LBS, but again, my dream of being on TV had not been realized yet. I was doing news on radio, I was doing talk shows, but when I joined the Liberia broadcasting system around 2015, 2016, then I had the opportunity to get on TV. Then I got on TV, I started doing television news, I started doing television programs. And then I know the next question will be, then did you feel that you had arrived at the final destination? But then at some point I realized that it didn't seem enough, because I was on TV. I wanted to be on TV since I was small. Now I was on TV. What do I do next? And then I thought it was time to leave from being on radio and on TV that I used to like, even though I still like it. I'm on TV right now, so I'm happy. So, and then I decided to come to LRA to, public relations and corporate communications. But I can say yes that my dream of wanting to be on TV was realized. That was a dream, but the career in journalism, communication still continues, because whether you agree with me or not, this is another form of journalism. And by the way, I still run a radio program on LBS that is sometimes streamed on the television. a program called Learn Is Life. I still run a program. So yes, I'm still actively involved in radio, but I'm more focused now into communications than radio.
Well, is this a career path you will encourage today's kids to consider as we focus on our future?
So the first thing is, most of us, and I don't mean myself, most of us did not have a chance to be told or to be guided on what we should do when we grew up. Or if we saw something and we started talking about it that we wanted to do it. Some of us did not get the backing of our parents and people to support us to do those things. I'll tell you that my father used to take me to Onwe Radio's headquarters somewhere around Point 4 across the bridge. And because he didn't have transportation to go back home, he'd come back for me in the evening because of the distance. So he would sit in front of the gate because the interesting part was they would only allow me to enter because I was the one that was going to do a program. He got no program to do there, he got nothing to do there. So they would tell him to wait at the gate. He would wait, I would go in, spend nearly the whole day. He would be there. Whether he eating, I don't know. I would go inside, they would carry me, I would eat, I would drink, I would do everything. And I would come back, he would be waiting for me. And he would take me home. Now, I would encourage, and the reason I brought that story is to say that I had the backing of my parents to encourage me, whether or not they thought that it was something I was going to make money from or not. So I would encourage a lot of young people to follow this career path: journalism, communications, media, public affairs. It's all the same thing, but could mean different things at different point in time. But I would also like to say that sometimes your parents could discourage you from doing certain things you want to do. And if you feel passionate about it, you can do it. Unfortunately, we're in an African society where if your father says you will be that, you will be that. And if your mom says you should be nurse, you should be nurse. And your father says you should be engineer, you should be engineer. But if you see journalism or mass communications as a career path you want to take, learn how to read, read well again, read well one more time. Never be shy to ask people for words that you don't understand or you don't know how to pronounce. Never worry about making mistakes. If you want to do journalism, never worry about making mistakes because you will make them. Even as you're reading these scripts to me now, you can possibly make a mistake. And that mistake should not take you off your game, but it should rather encourage you that, yes, I made a mistake, yes, people will be watching, even if it will not be edited. But you should know that what people will think of you is when you make a mistake and you correct yourself, people know you better. But if you make a mistake and think when you correct yourself, people will still laugh at you, that's when you mess up. That is what you should never do. Never be afraid to make a mistake in journalism. You will make mistakes. You will mispronounce people's names. You will mispronounce words. You will do a lot of things that people will look down on you for. And if you want to do this career path in the future, you also have to be presentable. You have to look presentable. That is why, when I was in active journalism, that is why when you go to a program, they will come and say, who the journalists are here to cover this program? You say, oh, the journalists are standing over there. Then the person will just come and say, but you come inside, and then they will point their hands to a certain group of you. And when other people are coming, they ask, where are you going? You know why? It's because a certain group of them look presentable, they look dressed well. In the next group, they look like they just came from out of town. And it does all over them. But meanwhile, it's not because you have the best to wear. It's because whatever you have to wear looks presentable. To do this job, you may not have all of the money, but I can assure you, it can take you places, it can do things for you, and if you use it rightly, Not wrongly. Not go and tell policemen I'm a journalist, so you can't stop me from coming to this place. I'm a journalist, so you can't do this. No. But when you use that influence in the right ways, you find out that it's something you would love doing. And of course, when you do it well, it comes with all of the great things. You can be walking the street. Oh, yeah, I'm gonna. Oh, so somebody hear your voice. Oh, you can be on the radio. Yes, all of those things can come, but before they come, you will not be jabbing. You will not be making mistakes for them to come. Read well, learn, understand, pronounce well, and you will do better in this job.
In your party comments, what advice would you give to young people to help them focus on positive life choices?
As if I've not been talking long and you asked me a question that you want me to talk about. Positive life choices. I've come to realize that positive life choices normally will begin from you, the individual. Secondly, when you make a positive life choice and you want to follow a particular career path, the first set of people that stand in your way are your best friends and your colleagues and people you consider your crowd of people. Because when they don't think that you should be going on radio or you should be going to that station for people to be sending you to buy water where you went there to go, how to learn and read news, those are the people that stand in your way. Because they may not have even decided what they want to do with their life. They've not decided what they want to do, but they're stopping you from doing what you want to do and what you've already decided to do. The reason why you're here right now is because you want to achieve a career in journalism. And permit me to say that it's good that the both of you are ladies, young women. Young women in the media have experienced a lot of difficulties and challenges, and as small as you are, for me, I don't believe in saying the wrong things to you, but as small as you are, as you grow in journalism and media, you have the challenge of men coming after you, not because you're smart and you're intelligent and you can read and use well, but because of other reasons. And those are things you deal with, and those are ways you maintain your character, and those are ways that you maintain your dignity as a person. So let's make positive life choices. It is a hard thing to do because when you want to do right, that's when the world is against you. That's when all of the wrong things come your way. But if you want to do the wrong thing, you have 150 suggestions on how to do one thing wrong. But when you want to do the right thing, people call you Christian Cole. People call you want to act big. People say you want to act big. People say you want to look different. But it's true, you want to look different. If I follow my friends and smoke on the beach, by now I would not be here. Because when I left 5th Street, St. Paul, when I was in 8th, 9th grade, I had friends who would go on the beach. We would go on the beach to play football. And after playing football, they would take grass and smoke. I would sit there and inhale the smoke and cough. After some time, I stopped going there. And I was considered a small boy because I didn't do what they were doing. But interestingly, just recently, one of them walked in here, LRA, and they see me say, "Oh, my man, you working here? I know you working here, man. That will talk." I'm not saying this boastfully and God knows, but they say, "My man, pay more transportation." You know why? Because when I sat in my room at my window and saw my friends playing football, and after they played football, they go smoke. My parents were not behind me. If I decided to do it, they would not know. Your positive life choices start with you. And if you don't make that choice and you don't make that positive decision, you have no one else to blame but yourself, because no matter how your parents try, it's about you. So I want to thank you very much for affording me this opportunity. I'm happy and I look forward to more in the future. I hope I've not bored you with my talking, but I hope that in the future, we can have more conversations and, share more thoughts on career path and these kinds of things. It's things that I love and it's things that I'm interested in. I will always like to share. Thank you.
Thank you so very much for your time, Mr. Daniel Ankrah.
Kidz Talk is an educative kids program brought to you by Clap for Liberia, building a brighter future. Please like, subscribe, and follow all of Clap for Liberia's platform for more educative and entertaining content. Thank you for watching.